Hey, get inspired, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Life Inspired. This is a program all about how and why people are following Christ. And we allow you to watch it and ask you to forward it or whatever from our YouTube channel, which we hope you'll subscribe to, our Facebook page, which we hope that you'll like, or you can go to lifeinspiredshow.com and watch it from there and share it from there. So these are shows that are talking about usually turning point. Life was going along and something happened, a dot moment where, and then God stepped in and he did something in someone's life and he turned their lives to something new that's inspired, and it's exciting. And he loves to do this in people's lives. And we have a very special guest today. We're doing social distancing still and pre-recording. I have my guest, Kyle Kuipers. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Diane, for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, we're so excited. So Kyle is moving to the South Bend area to be the new director of Young Life, which I'm a big fan of. My husband and I got to be on your committee for a little while when Karen was the director. So thank you for coming to town for that.
Thank you. Yep.
So, we're going to go ahead and ask you some questions. So, what's a backstory? I mean, most people have several turning points that they could talk about. I don't know what turning point you want to talk about today, but what's a backstory to kind of give us a little bit of background and history before you get to the turning point?
Yeah, a little bit of backstory. Grew up in Holland, Michigan, in a family of four. It was my older sister and I, and then my parents, and we grew up in the same house that my dad grew up in, and so it's they've been here in Holland all their lives, and really just kind of grew up in the church a little bit, not too much. And in fact, we kind of stopped going to church when we hit the middle school, type of age, and really was just kind of focused on life, and that really, I would say the first turning point actually happened when I was a freshman in high school, and that's really where I met the Lord, where He changed my life. But that was, freshman in high school. Now I'm 38, so it was quite a while ago, and been had one or two turning points since then as well.
So what happened when you were a freshman that was different for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I grown up with seeing kind of people around who went to church and said that they were following Christ. But I think for me as a kid, I was just trying to see, okay, here we are on Sunday. What are people doing during the week? And I kind of see people acting differently. How does that fit into play? And then really, I went to a Young Life camp, and I was drawn in by one of my leaders, who was my former elementary teacher. And so this guy was an amazing friend, and he still is today. He's great. But he just started pursuing me and pointing me to Jesus, and took me to this camp during the summer where I was just able to hear the gospel in its entirety and let it sink in, have time for me to understand how it hits me personally, and how maybe it was a little different from what I had heard before or how I envisioned it before. And then just got to sit underneath the stars and with the Lord and pray and ask Him in my heart. And it was an experience that I won't forget, and can still remember to this day, the feeling, but also just, kind of what He did in my life. And I could tell something was different when that happened.
Right. So how did you get drawn into this move to South Bend? Were you doing Young Life where you're coming from? Tell us where you're coming from.
Yeah. So I've not been in Young Life my entire adult life. In fact, I was a teacher for 6 years. I stopped doing Young Life stuff when I went to college, and then I was a health and PE teacher in middle school, and athletic director, and then after doing that for a few years, that would be another turning point in my life where I found my identity in my job and what I was trying to pursue. And so the Lord really convicted me and changed my life in that. I am coming to South Bend from a Young Life position, but I've only been on staff now 4 years full time with Young Life, and did another stint of a part-time Young Life thing where I worked with the church to kind of help build a bridge between the local church and Young Life, which is considered a parachurch organization. So I did that 3 years before that. But up until that, I was not in vocational ministry until I was 30, basically 32. So I'm 38 now, wow. So I've been in vocation ministry a little bit. Yeah, before that, it was kind of, I was teaching and trying to figure out life as a, young adult. So.
Right. And so Young Life is an organization that goes into mostly high schools. I know you have some college things. There's a lot at Notre Dame and some of the surrounding colleges here in our community. And I know we have some middle school organizations here in the South Bend area that is I forget what you call the middle school level.
Yeah, it's called Wildlife. It's pretty wild when you go to the middle school events. Yep.
Wildlife. So anyway, but the high school program is a program where you guys are just going in and just hanging out and being friends and mentors and role models and just loving on teenagers, right? So how could some of our viewers maybe how could they, be praying for Young Life or get involved in Young Life, or what do you recommend for that?
Yeah, first of all, reach out. That is part of my job. Is I love to sit down in front of people and talk and hear their story and their passions. And then, of course, I'd be happy to share what Young Life is. And it's our mission statement is to introduce adolescents and young adults to Jesus Christ and help them grow in their faith. So if anyone's passionate about middle school all the way up to college students, we have multiple other type of ministries that aren't currently in Michiana, but could be if someone wants to partner with us and kind of envision that. And that would be Young Lives, which is our teen mom program, where it's teen moms up to age 21. And that's a ministry that we have. We have Capernaum, which is for our friends with special needs. So that's also a ministry that we don't currently have. And then, like you said, we do have our college, which is Notre Dame, St. Mary's, all the surrounding colleges we want to try and get to. And really, if people out there just want to be engaged in relationships, want to meet people where they're at and point people to Christ, that's all we're trying to do. So that... Right. But I would say we have a new website that's upcoming. COVID and all that sort of stuff is kind of slowing us down with some of our functions, but we are trying to figure out and planning, like everyone else, of some events coming up in the near future. But if people want to at least Zoom or social distance a meeting, I am always available and want to meet as many community members as possible.
Awesome. Very good. And you're already here. You're already here in South Bend now.
Yeah. So I closed on my house off in the Harder Heights area, and that was on Wednesday. And I am moving tomorrow. All the stuff is in storage in Mishawaka, and so I'll be moving that over and settling in.
Got it. So by the time this airs, you'll be way settled in. And when we're recording this, you guys, there's a lot of unrest in America with the riots and all the things that are going on. So you know what, Jesus is able to calm all the people's fears. And so I know that there's lots of prayer warriors. There's lots of people that are praying for Young Life, and that can help in all those different sides that everybody has. So so thank you for your ministry. Thank you for coming here to do ministry.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I do have something off of that. We are going to do some prayer walks later on this.
Awesome.
It will be the last Monday of each month, starting in it will be July. So we're going to do July and August. And so we're going to send those out where we're going to be praying over our schools, administrators, teachers, all the way down to every worker, part-time, no matter what. And of course, our students for their health and safety and stuff. So if people are interested to join us in prayer, those are great times to do that.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll have to make sure we share that and get that information. So prayer walks coming the last Monday of each month, you said, correct? The last Monday?
Yes.
Starting with the last Monday in July.
Correct.
Right. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for being here. Oh, I forgot to ask you, how do you stay inspired every day? What is it that you do to feel your connection to God daily?
Yeah. So definitely, getting into the Word, but then I love to experience God and what He has in store to speak to me on runs or bike rides, and so that's my kind of time to go out and to be inspired by what the Lord is putting on my heart by being with just Him while doing some physical activity. So that's what I do along with getting into the Word. So.
I love that. Yeah. It's just, we always say it's so different for every single person how they connect, just like your fingerprint's different from every other person. And so I love that you can talk about that you connect when you're on a bike ride or on a run. That's so cool. We've all got to do whatever is the right thing for us for how we connect to Him. So thanks for sharing. Thanks for being here. Thanks for serving Him with Young Life. And if you guys want to connect with Kyle, ask about prayer requests, ask about prayer walks, want to contribute financially, or want to get involved with Young Life, message us here, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or through the lifeinspiredshow.com. Any of those methods you can contact us. We'll put you in contact with Kyle. So thanks for watching. You guys have a great week. Bye-bye.